Today on Weekly Wire, we find out about some upcoming events in South Washington County.
A new gardening club is growing in St. Paul Park.
Plus, the city forester in Cottage Grove has some important news about the emerald ash borer. Hello, I'm Ann Schweisguth.
And I'm Justin Atkinson. Well, the Washington County Library will be constructing a new Park Grove library, and they're looking for your input. Residents are invited to contribute their thoughts and opinions. On April 16th, there will be a short presentation at 6:15 p.m. Afterwards, participants are encouraged to give thoughts on the new library. The meeting will be held at the Park Grove Library in Cottage Grove.
A new gardeners club has formed in St. Paul Park. The garden group talks about what works, what doesn't work, and shares plants and ideas. You can look for upcoming meetings on the Nextdoor St. Paul Park Heritage page, on the city's website, or on Facebook under the St. Paul Park Neighbors Group. All skill levels are welcome.
Washington County is now taking comments on their 2040 comprehensive plan. The plan is designed to allow the county to accommodate the projected population growth of almost 80,000 people between 2015 and 2040, while incorporating sustainable growth and preserving the area's natural, cultural, and historic resources. You can access the draft plan on the county's website by searching for Comprehensive Plan. An online survey is available for feedback.
This summer, you can hold your family gathering and celebrations at one of Woodbury's parks. You can currently reserve park shelters and buildings on the city's website. Woodbury has 4 buildings that can be used year-round and 6 open-air shelters that are great for summer use. Prices vary from park to park.
The city forester in Cottage Grove stopped by earlier this week to give us an update on a pesky insect affecting local trees.
Hi, I'm Quinn. I just wanted a moment of your time to talk about the emerald ash borer, otherwise known as EAB. EAB is a small insect that's been killing ash trees by boring under the bark and basically starving the tree of nutrients. The Minnesota Department of Agriculture has confirmed the emerald ash borer is in Cottage Grove. The city has been preventively treating ash trees on the boulevard and high-use areas in the parks. Infested trees will need to be removed to prevent the spread of the insects. If you have an ash tree on your property that you would like to save, I would recommend having it treated by a professional tree care company. There are 2 easy steps residents can take to keep EAB from spreading. Do not transport firewood, wood chips, or ash tree products. Buy or collect firewood locally and burn it where you buy it. Watch your ash trees for infestation. If you think your ash tree is infested, go to the MDA website and use the Does My Tree Have Emerald Ash Borer guide.
Quinn is also working with the MDA to identify woodpecker damage to ash trees. If you notice significant woodpecker damage to a tree in your yard or city park, please contact Cottage Grove Public Works.
It's not unusual to see female cops in Woodbury today, but prior to 1986, there had never been a woman serving as a police officer. As part of the 50th anniversary of the police department, we take a look back at the first woman to serve as a sworn officer in Woodbury, Sherry Cook.
By 1986, the effects of the recession began to wear off. To respond, Woodbury requested 2 new officers. In June, Woodbury Police hired their first female officer, Sherry Cook.
Woodbury was seen as a progressive department, and so they were attempting to hire minority groups.
On her way to be sworn in by the council, Cook tuned into KDWB, which was then located in Woodbury. She was surprised to hear the DJ mention the police department.
And they were talking about how one of the Woodbury officers they felt was harassing one of the DJs, and it kind of keyed me into listening because I thought, oh, Woodbury, I'm going to be working there. That's cool that they're talking about Woodbury. And then they said, well, maybe all that will change now that they've hired their first female officer. I was not really thinking too much about it, and then they said my name. And I was driving down the road with my Woodbury police uniform on for the first time, had the patch, facing out. And I felt like a spotlight came down on me, and I kind of looked around, and there was a woman in a car next to me, and she gave me the big thumbs up.
The spotlight didn't let up on the drive. When Cook arrived in front of City Hall, she saw several local media outlets were there also.
I was thinking, I wonder what's going on. Looks like, fun city to work in because there's so much going on. And it turns out what was going on was that they were hiring their first female officer. And so the cameras were there for me when I got sworn in. So I felt a tiny little bit of pressure at that point to be successful.
Cook quickly became an important member of the police department. Shortly after being hired, she became an investigator for the city. In 1990, Chief Orth requested that Cook begin teaching DARE, a new curriculum designed to teach elementary students the dangers of illegal drugs. She excelled.
Cook served in Woodbury until 1991 when she took a job with the Minnesota BCA. Residents can learn more about the department's history during an open house at the Public Safety Department on May 19th.
There will be 2 public information meetings next week held by the MPCA and DNR to provide an overview of the 3M water settlement. The meetings will start with a half-hour open house, followed by a short presentation at 6:30 p.m., and ending with Q&A and more open house time.
Kids ages 3 to 6 will have an opportunity to participate in their own tiny track and field event in Cottage Grove starting on April 10th. The Cottage Grove Recreation Department will have 5 sessions that will include the long jump, high jump, and hurdles. The class runs from 1:30 to 2:45 p.m. at the ice arena on the indoor turf. The cost to participate is $25. You can register by calling the ice arena at 458-3400 or by visiting the city's website. Now here's a quick look at some upcoming events happening around South Washington County you might want to check out. Well, before we go today, we just want to let you know that April 12th is Tornado Drill Day.
Yeah, and that's basically a statewide test of the tornado sirens.
That's right.
So on that day, there's going to be one at 1:45 p.m. There's also going to be one in the evening at 6:55 p.m. And they go for about a minute.
And it's just a test. It's a Thursday, so it's different than when they tested on Wednesday. So nobody can be alarmed.
That's right. It's only a drill.
Yes, unless it's bad weather, in which case they don't do the drill, and but we'll worry about that if that happens.
Absolutely.
All right. Well, have a great week. We'll see you next week.